What is up, guys? Today I'm bringing you a review for Ghostbusters Afterlife. Ghostbusters Afterlife is the recent installment for the original Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Although in this one is not starring Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and the rest. It stars Egon's family. Yeah. Look, I'm gonna just get I'm gonna just get my initial thoughts out of the way for this. Honestly, I did not like it. I did not like this movie. If I were to describe this movie, it would be fan service overload. Or maybe you know that whole episode on South Park, the Member Berries?
Member? Hey, remember Ghostbusters? Oh, I remember. Remember Slimy?
Another way to describe this is a Force Awakens moment. Look, I'm not saying that you can't enjoy this movie. If you love the franchise, great. You know, that's great. But people have got to stop being blinded by nostalgia. Because that's what this movie literally does. It doesn't really add anything new besides two things. Location setting and a replacement for Slimer. Which, honestly, they couldn't even come up with a creative name for the replacement for Slimer. Yeah, honestly, I'm really disappointed with this movie. Which sucks because it's made by the son of the original director of the original movies. Even the original director helped his son make this movie. And it's like literally they couldn't come up with anything and they just thought, you know what? Let's do it like your way, Dad. Let's do it how you did it. Adding nothing new. The characters in this movie, like, I honestly could care less about. Like Finn Wolfhard. You know, he is only there for two things. Build the car. Or, sorry. He's only there for two things. Fix up the car. And have a love interest. Which I could honestly give two shits about. Because it literally add nothing to the story. Besides him having a crush. And said crush, I'll just say this. All the characters in the movie, I could give two rat's asses about, besides the main character. There's a kid in the movie called Podcast, because, you know, he does a podcast, which, really creative name there. Sony, or whoever thought of that. Whoever in the writing station thought of that. He doesn't add anything to the movie besides being weird. Like, no character in this movie adds to anything. Oh, actually, no. I'm sorry. Let me scratch that. The only thing the kid had was the ghost trap in a vehicle, in a controlled RC car. Which that doesn't even last throughout the whole movie. The main character, like, you know, I would like this character a lot more if they didn't write her to be so emotionless. And they do it on purpose, but I feel like that's so lazy. Because Egon in the movies, I've watched them. And I'll go back and rewatch it. And if I'm wrong about this, then that's on me. But Egon was never emotionless throughout the series. With his granddaughter, she's just a complete robot. Literally, I feel like everyone almost is like a robot in this movie because when their first official sighting of a ghost pops up to them, they don't act, they're just like, oh, that's cool. Paul Rudd's character is literally like Rick Moranis. That's all he is. Although he is a very smart guy, he's not really utilized that much. He just goes out on a date with the main character's mom and gets kidnapped by spoiler alert, even though this is not really a spoiler, it was already shown in the trailer. He literally gets kidnapped and possessed by a terror dog. So does the main character's mom. And she's not even the Sigourney Weaver really character in this movie. The mom, she just complains about Egon's relationship with her and goes out on a date with Paul Rudd, and that's about it. Minor spoiler. There is a J.K. Simmons cameo scene, and that only lasts about 2 seconds. Literally the most forgettable scene that you could ever even think of. That's literally, he got the easiest paycheck ever. Also, I mean, like, if the only enjoyment as a Ghostbusters fan you're going to get out of this is most likely the return of, and this is a spoiler warning, if you have not checked the final trailer of Ghostbusters Afterlife, I suggest you click off the video, or, you know, skip a little bit of ahead, go watch the movie if you want to, then come back. But, anyways, getting back to it, anyone left? Anyone here? Alright, gonna move forward. So, yes, the return of the original cast members. Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson, Dan Aykroyd. And honestly, I have to say, it was not well deserving to just have their cameos like that. Honestly, because if this is a direct sequel, you know? I felt like if it's seriously a direct sequel, it's great to add in Egon's grandkids' family, right? But I feel like you would have to add in the OG members to like be some sort of pivotal moment. Not pivotal. Have a pivotal story arc with them. There's only like a brief scene with Dan Aykroyd on a phone call with the main character, discussing, oh, Egon was a fucking piece of shit. He screwed us all over, and just what we've done over the years later, kind of thing. And then they show up at the end, and then, yeah, not really exciting, to be honest. It wasn't really well deserved for like anything. It's just like, oh wow, cool. The only reaction, if you're a hardcore Ghostbusters fan, is that one Wojak meme. That's about as much as the reaction you're gonna probably feel. They did not come up with a creative new villain at all. They showed at least some interesting ghosts for like brief seconds, and then nothing. This movie was just a pretty burger that had nothing. That's all this movie was. Now, you can say if I'm a hater, stuff like, look, I love the original. I think the original is a masterpiece. The sequel is like, okay, cool, that's a good sequel. It's not better than the first, but it's there. Then the remake happened, and you know what? That was an SNL skit, to be honest. Because that's all I felt, especially with the cast members being from SNL. And then this was the Force Awakens moment. Nothing new. Nothing really interesting. That's the rankings for these movies. So yeah. Honestly, there is a credit scene, but honestly, I'm like, is it worth it to watch the credit scene? Not really, to be honest. Oh, just last thoughts actually. For one of them being the tone of this movie. They really try hard to make this movie funny. And honestly, to be honest, comparing the humor in 2016 to this one, oh boy. I'm going to say a hot take here. I'm going to say a really hot take. But I felt like the humor in 2016 actually worked well.
Man, this is some bullshit! Boo this man!
Was it great humor? Not really. But there were some ones that did make a good landing. As for the humor in this movie, look, there was humor in the original. I'm not gonna downplay on that. But it did work for its time. This, it comes off as cringy, to be honest. And even some of the jokes that Paul Rudd gets, they're not really the best. And he's a funny dude. He can make it funny. But it's rarely that happens in this movie, in my opinion. There is some good ones he does say, but it's like, it's forgettable, but it's still, it's there. It's good. And the creepiness and the horror factor for this movie. Look, in the original, you get a really great tone of horror. Now, yes, would I say there were jump scares in that movie? I would say, maybe. But there was an element in the originals that made it so creepy where it didn't need to rely on jump scares. While this, it just had jump scares. There was literally nothing creepy that I felt, and then it just relied on jump scares. So yeah, I'm pretty disappointed in this whole movie. It was honestly just a cash grab. In the whole family arc for this movie, it was so cliched and played out where you can guess any moment anything that will happen. Even like the first 5 minutes of this movie, you'll guess like, I know what's already gonna happen. You know, point A character is gonna, come to terms with point B character kind of thing. Like, it's so played out. It's so generic of a movie. Like, I don't care about any of the characters. The cameos aren't well deserving, to be honest, and it hurts me to say that. The ghosts, it's not creative with the ghosts. They did show a brief scene with like new ghosts, but they don't use them like as much. The town of this movie, it doesn't feel. It's like they've always experienced a ghost before, like compared to the people how they reacted in New York. The people in New York reacted what a normal human would react, but then the people in this town, they're like, "Oh man, that's crazy!" Like, "Oh, whoa, what was that? Whoa, man." Whoa, oh, sparks flying. Oh, man, that's crazy. It does nothing. There's literally, like, nothing redeeming about this movie at all. Honestly, you know what? I'm going to say this. Honestly, by the credits, I thought they were going to do a whole remix version of who you going to call the Ghostbusters theme. They didn't even do that. They didn't even go with a different like, remix version of the song, which, to be honest, like, I don't know how I feel about that, because one instance I'm like, even at the end, try to come up with something new. If this is like a pass the torch to the new generation, come up with something new. No, it does not, and then it gets me conflicted. I don't know how I feel about that. On one instance, I love the theme song, I really do. On the other instance, I'm like, come up, just give me something new. Oh my god, okay. Wow, okay. That is all my thoughts about the movie. So yeah, rating-wise, I give it, honestly, I'm just gonna say a 0 out of 10. I'm not impressed with this movie. So yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video of me ranting about this movie. Make sure you like and subscribe and check out my latest video. See ya.